Welcome, everybody. It's us again, the Rock Kaput team. Tonight, we are handling again random songs, this time from another decade, from the 80s. Yeah, it's us again. It's Oliver and me, Alex.
Hi,
So,
hi.
random songs means it can be anything. Um, we like the songs, but it could be a forgotten classic. It could be a big hit back in the day. It could be a forgotten B-side. It could really be anything. This episode is here to surprise you. So this time it's the 80s, and Oliver is going to start with his first pick.
Okay. And of course, if you like the concept of this show, thumbs up,
Oh,
subscription, and your comments afterwards. Right.
right. I almost
Okay,
forgot. Yeah.
yeah, no problem. So, well, the only thing that's not random, you could say, is of course we have to know the songs we pick, right? So,
Right.
yeah, we know these songs, and up till now we like them. Maybe one day we will pick something we don't like. That could be a chance too. So,
Yes, right.
but
Yeah.
today all the songs I picked I like, and the first one is probably from the, at least nominally, I think the most well-known act I have today. They are considerably bigger in Europe than in the US of A because they are a European band coming from Norway. And of course, I'm talking about the Norwegian trio of Aha,
Mm.
um, who, yeah, are a band that I kind of grew up with. I started to listen to pop music in like 80, consciously listening to pop music in like 84, 85, something like that. And that 85 was when Aha's biggest single came out, their debut single, Take On Me, of course, which made it to number one in the US Hot 100. And yeah, I read a teeny magazine back in the day, and it was full of articles about that band. The readers loved them, and especially the good looking singer, Morten Harket, who I have to admit was really a really attractive guy, still is an attractive guy. And yeah, he was. They made this very hooky and classy synth pop. And the singer Morten, he has an amazing voice. He can pull off the deep register. He can go high. Very unique voice. And well, the song "Take on Me," of course, was supported by this very innovative video back in the day. You know, with these the mix of like cartoon or painted sequences and filmed sequences. And it was a huge success in Germany as well and all over Europe. It was actually I'm not going to talk about Take on Me, but I have to start with that because it took a while for that single to take off because it was the second time it was released. It was released in 1984 for the first time. And then it didn't take off, but they tried it again, and in '85 it worked. So, and '85 was also the year they put out their debut album, which was called Hunting High and Low, and I bought that on vinyl a couple of months later, I guess. Um, and the second single is actually the song I want to talk about now. It's called "The Sun Always Shines on TV." Um, was not that big in Germany. It reached number five on the charts. In the US, I think it peaked on number 20, reached the number one in the UK. But I think it's the better song. I mean, I love "Take on Me," but there's a bit more to The Sun Always Shines on TV, and it starts with the, I think, very interesting title. At first, it sounds kind of weird, but of course, it's this. Yeah, on television, everything looks better than in real life, you could say. And the song is a mix. It's very driving and fast. It has this driving, fast rhythm with synth steps and all, and but then it has this very dramatic melody. I think there's some strings in there as well. So it's very rousing and emotional song. I think it shows off the great songwriting Aha always had. I think the good looks they had betrayed a bit that they were all very good songwriters and great at their respective instruments. The other guys being Paul Wachter, he's the main songwriter and guitar player, and Magne Furuholmen was the keyboardist. And yeah, that's actually for a band that was mainly aimed at teens back in the day. It's a really great album with more great songs. The title track "Hunting High and Low" is amazing. Um, Train of Thought was another single of that, and they kept on doing quality music in the years going on. Of course, mainly staying in Europe. Um, they even did a theme song for a James Bond movie, the first one with Timothy Dalton back in the day, The Living Daylights, great song. I love Stay on These Roads, which is this kind of power ballad. Um, yeah, but in the late 90s, they kind of stopped making music and releasing albums, but then they came back in the early 2000s and were always very successful in Germany. Um, I think their last song that went very high in the charts was 2009, peaking at number three. Uh, I don't know what it's called, Foot of the Mountain, something like that. So they were always there, and their last album was released in 22. And last year, sadly, Morten Harket, the singer, announced that he was suffering from Parkinson's disease. So yeah, very sad news. I mean, kind of lost track of them a bit. It's not the music I listen to when I'm at home. But yeah, Aha were played an important part in my musical upbringing. Loved them as a teen. They were always around, these huge stars the teens were looking up to with these shiny, well-written pop songs. And The Sun Always Shines on TV for me is an absolute classic of 80s pop. Should be better known, I think, because it's really great tune. And if you don't know it, put it on, and I think you will agree with me that it's very dramatic, melodic, and lots of stuff going on that's more than just simple pop music. That's it.
Yes, I love Aha as well. I mean, they're really a great band. And I think during the 80s and also the 90s, they were kind of laughed about by the rock community a lot. But I think they were kind of redeemed in the early 2000s because a lot of famous musicians claimed to have been influenced by Aha, like I think like Coldplay or Keen or bands like that. Back then, when Coldplay was still good.
I always thought. I think the first time I heard "In My Place," I thought it was Aha.
Ah,
Really?
really?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I think he sings a kind of similar, has a similar
Mhm.
voice, the melody, and yeah, it's I can see that they were influenced by them, of course. Yeah,
Yeah, I think they have a kind of a similar attitude. Yeah,
yeah.
right. Yeah, and I think "The Sun Always Shines on TV" is indeed one of their very best songs. And what what many people don't notice, and I'm not really sure why, it has always bothered me. I think the U2 song "Beautiful Day" from their
Mm,
album "All That You Can't Leave Behind" from 2001 is has almost exactly the same chorus. And it was
okay.
a big hit all over the world.
Yeah.
Maybe it was even bigger than "The
Yeah.
Sun Always Shines on TV," and they totally stole the chorus.
Mm. Yeah. I haven't listened to that song in I don't know how
Check it.
long. So yeah, I will check that out. Yeah, I think it's also funny that well, Aha landed on the top spot in US on the US Billboard charts with "Take on Me," and after that it didn't do very much. So they were mainly successful in Europe, of course, in
Yes.
Scandinavia, in Germany. Uh, they they had a couple of albums in the 2000s and even I think in the 2010s that went very high in the German album charts. So yeah,
I still like their singles, their late singles. I
yeah,
thought they were
yeah,
still very good.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so
very
I'm
cool.
excited to hear your first pick.
Yeah, so my first pick is also a very beloved band, and it is Depeche Mode, and it is from this album.
Yeah,
Um, I like Depeche Mode for the most part, but I don't like the very, very early Depeche Mode incarnation led by Vince Clarke, who later founded Erasure. I don't like that one very much. I still don't like. They still play it sometimes,
I
but
just can't get enough.
I just can't get enough. I can't stand that song, and also not the album Speak and Spell. I think they became the Depeche Mode that I love later on. And yeah, and of course, I like them maybe even more when they started using electric guitars more on Violator and then went total rock mode on Songs of Faith and Devotion. Yeah, great band. And the track I want to talk about tonight is A Question of Lust from this album, a track sung by Martin. I'm a big by Martin Gore. I'm a big Martin fan, so Martin is the main songwriter of the band. And yeah, on every album he sings a few songs. On this one he sings, I think, four. He sings a bit more, but of course, Dave Gahan is the main singer especially on stage. And yes, this Martin song is very special to me. He has a very interesting voice. It's much more intimate when he sings. And it's especially a very fragile singing, which is rarely heard on a pop record. Yeah, and I really like this intimacy a lot, especially on this song. Um, Also, the lyrics, they're singing about lust and trust in this song, not love. So, this is not a simple love song. He's singing about lust and trust in a desperate relationship, and he's kind of struggling to stay together. This feels like a much more honest and real scenario of a relationship than many cheesy 80s pop songs of this era. And I really like this a lot. I mean, the whole album, Black Celebration, is one of their 80s masterpieces, in my opinion, of this era. This is my favorite album. And yeah, the song has a fantastic synth melody in the chorus that lifts the song up even higher. And of this synth pop era, this is really a beautiful, dark, romantic ballad, and certainly one of the Depeche Mode highlights. I can recommend it to anybody interested in synth pop of the 80s.
Yeah. Uh, I think like the Aha song I talked about, it's also very cinematic. It has this very kind of orchestral uh,
Totally.
feel and transports you to places. That was the first album. I guess I caught a couple of Depeche Mode songs on TV when they were in music shows on TV. But that was the first, one of the very first grown-up records I listened to. I think there was this kind of library bus going to the place where I lived, and they had a couple of tapes you could borrow for a week or so. And
Cool.
there was this Black Celebration album, and I borrowed it and listened to it. And it's a very dark album for a 10-year-old, or I guess it's from 1985, I think. So I was nine.
1986. Mhm.
86, yeah.
Mhm.
And Stripped is kind of a spooky song. A Black Celebration is also pretty dark. What
Yeah.
always bothered me is that they have that they have a question of lust and a question of time on the
Yes.
same album.
Yes. Yes.
I always thought it was seemed kind of lazy to me.
Yes. Yes.
when
It's very confusing. So even
when a
and
question
both
of
both
time is,
were a singer. Yeah.
yeah, both were singers. But a question of time is a completely different song. It's pretty fast for
Yes.
Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, yeah, so many cool songs, and we should do a full album ranking by Depeche
Yes. Of
Mode.
course. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Totally for it.
cool. I don't think we have them on our list already, do we? Not
No.
sure.
No.
I
Why?
don't think so. Okay, so the next band I'm actually not that familiar with. Um, I don't really remember when how I found them, and it was this song that I found. I think I tried to. Maybe it was a time when I dove a little bit into new wave and post punk stuff, um, and somehow I stumbled over that song and was immediately enamored by it because it has such a beautiful melody. And the band is Squeeze, and the song is called "Is That Love?" And Squeeze were founded in 1974 in London, by five guys called, no, four guys: Chris Difford, Glenn Tilbrook, Jules Holland, and Paul Gunn. And they named themselves after the Velvet Underground album by the same name, which came out the year before. And
On
yeah,
which
they
you can
they
argue if that's even in the Velvet Underground album because it's led by Doug Yule. So okay, but enough of that.
yeah, okay, but yeah, but that's where they got their name from. And yeah, then they I think they released an EP in the late 70s, but then their debut album, their self-titled debut album from 1978, guess who produced that one? John Cale.
Ah,
So that must have been, I guess they were Velvet Underground fans, so that must have been cool. But the label deemed the album not commercial enough, because John Cale did too much John Calesy stuff on it. So they included two more songs which they produced themselves, and those were the singles. Um, in 1978, they released their second album called Cool for Cats, and that contained two of their biggest hits: the title track Cool for Cats and Up the Junction, which is also beautiful and could have also been the one here. Um, did another album in 1980 called Argy Bargy, has two hits: Another Nail in My Heart, Pulling Muscles from a Shell. Um, had moderate success in the US as well. But the song I'm talking about, Is That Love, is from their 1981 album called East Side Story. And that one was produced by Elvis Costello. Um, and yeah, from these influences, you can kind of get an impression how they sound like. So this is like mostly guitar driven British pop music, very melodic, but very down to earth. It has a little bit of that, or the earlier songs, of course, from the late 70s have a bit of that herky jerk, new wave post punk thing, but this is more. But this is more like a precursor to Prefab Sprout or something like that. So very melodic, very earnest and honest, still a bit humorous. So it's definitely not depressing music. It's very upbeat, and yeah, just beautiful songwriting. Um, they had a couple of hits from that record as well, called "Labeled with Love" and "Tempted." Um, but the band then broke up. Difford and Tilbrook continued as a duo under that name, Difford and Tilbrook. But the band reunited, split up, and reunited again in the following decades. So they are right now they are still active, mainly touring. Um, yeah, but they're still around. I I'm not that familiar with the albums. I mainly listen to their song to these hit songs because I put them in my playlists. And but every time this one comes on, it yeah, gives me a kind of a good feeling, because it's kind of simple but beautiful and melodic, and it's just that kind of song that you are happy to come across when you catch them, because it's kind of rare to hear something like that, especially these days. You know, it's so down to earth, and it's beautifully produced, but it's not like, you know, there's not thousand things going on. It's mainly this band and their nice. Yeah, relatable lyrics. So that's a song I really love. Is That Love
Hmm.
by The Squeeze? Not The Squeeze. Squeeze. I always think they are called The Squeeze.
Squeeze. Okay.
Squeeze.
I don't think I've heard that song.
You have to. I think you. I'm willing to bet money that you will love that song. That song.
Yeah, it sounds like I would
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So my pick number two. So is also a beloved band. It is from it is a punk band. I would say it's they kind of co-invented with other bands their own genre called horror punk, and they're the Misfits. And I picked a song from this album, from their debut. It's my favorite song from the debut, and it's "I Turned Into a Martian," which has all the Misfits trademarks. I think you gotta love it. It has oh ho oh chanting and sing along melodies, and of course the great voice by Glenn Danzig, who is, in my opinion, one of the best rock singers ever. The evil Elvis. Yeah, yeah. I like his voice. I like his style, and he's really one of my favorite punk rock singers in general. Yeah, and the Misfits, I don't know, this is a very unique mixture. They are super sweet melodies, and they are sound dangerous at the same time. You can say they have kind of sugary 60s melodies with a punk and horror twist, with their horror lyrics. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, they have many great songs that fit totally into this vein, this oh ho ho choruses and sing along. And yeah, this was one of the the highlights from the beginning. But yeah, they have so many songs. They have two compilations full of their more melodic songs, called just compilation one and two, and they are stacked with great melodies. So Yeah. So, but maybe this song could turn you on to the Misfits if you don't know them by now.
Um, is that 81, that album?
This one is 82. But
82, okay.
The Misfits existed for a very long time when they recorded their debut. They are
Okay.
tons of 10 inches and singles, and they had an unreleased album called Static Age, which got
Mm,
released later. So it was kind of a late debut of a band that has been active for years.
okay.
Yeah.
I somehow never got into them. I tried a couple of times, it didn't, but yeah, I have to try that again.
Mm.
Kind of, kind of,
I think the garagey production the albums don't sound that great. They can really turn you off, especially when you expect a good heavy production.
yeah.
So, but I mean, didn't Alex recently say he got into the Misfits much later? He first did not like them. Maybe,
Possibly, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe you can try again. But you
Yeah, I have to. I think I have to. There's so many punk bands that I never really dedicated my time to, or just tried very casually, and yeah, maybe expected something different. Um, I guess there are a couple of songs by them I like, but I never, like I said, I never really dedicated much time to them. So yeah.
Mm,
How many albums do they? There's Chaos AD. Isn't one album called Chaos AD or something like that?
yes,
Earth
yes.
AD, right?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
is their heaviest album. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think I presented it in the Halloween episode of the
Yeah.
Contrarians, if you remember.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's their heaviest. Yeah, but that album is not has not as many melody driven songs.
okay.
They're more in your face punk rockers.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's still very good, but yeah, it's a bit different than I Turned Into a Martian
Yeah.
style.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we are going to a completely different spectrum. And this is a complete outlier for me as well. And I picked this song because what I always love is, or let me start differently. When you, back in the 80s, which was the time when I started listening to music consciously, at first, of course, in the car with my parents or at our place when they were listening to the radio. And you picked up songs, but you didn't always know what that song was, right? So you didn't know who was singing it on and what the song was called. And sometimes you learned about it, but in other cases you just listened to the song a couple of times, but never really, never really stuck who that was. So and with with streaming and YouTube, um, I like to go on kind of a hunt for these songs. Obviously I cannot look for them because I don't remember them and I don't know by whom they are. But sometimes it happens that I'm compiling these lists and I put songs in there, you know, going through charts from that time and putting songs in there. And all of a sudden I come across a song which I remember and didn't even know that I know that one. And this is one of those songs. I put it in my huge 80s list, which I don't know how many thousand songs are in there. And I listened to that one. It came on when I shuffled this playlist on the way to our holiday in Sweden, to a vacation in Sweden. And this came on, and I was like, wow, because it was like, I don't know, 40 years or even longer before I listened to that one. And it's a pretty interesting song because it's by a Canadian guy called Pascal Longuerant, and he was starting making. He studied communication science and electronic music in Montreal and started making music in the 70s. And and I think that's very interesting because electronic music in the 70s started as this kind of, yeah, this kind of offshoot of, you could almost say, prog rock, because it was very experimental music and very brainy music by guys who could afford all these expensive synthesizers and started to do these weird music on it. And that's the way Pascal Longuerant started as well. I listened to one of his first solo album before this show, and it's very inspired by, early Pink Floyd and Tangerine Dream and stuff like that. So it's very ambient and experimental and so forth. Um, but then, as time went on, and of course synthesizers became cheaper, then you got this synth pop or dance music later on. So it changed into this other kind of music. But and Pascal Longuerant, he created this project called Trans X, which of course is inspired by Kraftwerk and their Trans European Express. And yeah, he decided to do like synth-based dance music. And with Trans X, he had this huge hit around the world called Living on Video. Um, Reached number 4 in Germany, and yeah, but was successful in other countries as well. And it's just this, yeah, it's kind of silly and upbeat, and yeah, you could almost say it's a precursor to what would later become like techno or house music, but from the early 80s. So it has this different vibe. It's still somehow um, more yeah, more like pop music. It's not the structure is not, like later on you in dance music and techno you had song structures became different, and how songs worked was different. And this is still seems kind of, yeah, more um indebted to like pop music. But it has these funny sounds, from early 80s synthesizer music, which today sound kind of chintzy and cheap. But then I think it's a pretty cool song. I really like it. It has different parts. Um, and it's yeah, like I said, it's pretty upbeat and kind of it's a kind of funny song. So it's very sunny, and uh, I think it's pretty cool. I don't and Longuerant is still around, doing these. I think he even reformed Trans X. I don't know, but mainly he's doing this other stuff. So he later on experimented with synth music combined with Gregorian chorals and stuff like that. So yeah, went into new age stuff, and so pretty interesting. And yeah, I don't know if you're interested in the history of this electronic music, and you like these kind of retro futuristic stuff from the 70s and 80s. I think you might get a kick out of Living on Video, because I maybe you remember it from the 80s when you were around. So I was having a blast when I rediscovered that one, because I really remember it from back in the day, and I think it's a fun song.
Hmm, interesting. I have to check that out. Okay, so my next pick is a guy you maybe have heard about. It's Mr. John Lennon
Ah,
from his last album with Yoko Ono. And yeah, I wanted to pick a song it's a huge song, but it's maybe not a song everybody knows. Also, maybe Beatles aficionados, of course, know it. But if you're not that into John Lennon, it's maybe not the song, if you're born a bit later, that everybody knows. So it's not Imagine. It's the song Just Like Starting Over. Um, it's it's a great song, and it's certainly one of my favorite song of the year 1980. Um, yeah. It was a number one in the US and the UK, and it's an Roy Orbison and Elvis Presley inspired tune. Um, John also sings a little bit in this voice and wrote an intro for it that is very in a Roy Orbison style. And I mean, Roy Orbison is also great. I'm also a big fan of him. And yeah, I think this. I mean, all the John tracks on this album are great. The Yoko Ono, I'm not such a big fan of it. I think it was a, I mean, I'm not the first person to say this, but it was a weird idea to combine. I mean, it's nice that they as lovers want to do a record together, but their styles are totally different and they don't really fit together. But yeah, here we are. I don't mind her music that much, but I don't think it fits. Yeah, it's two totally different genres, and yeah, if you want to listen to Yoko Ono, you can listen to a Yoko Ono album, and you want to listen to John, listen to John. But yeah, the John songs alone are so great that you need to have this album, in my opinion. And yeah, and on this album, this was his return to the music biz after being at home and taking care of his son Sean that he had with Yoko together. He has another son, Julian, of course, and he has been away from the music biz for 5 years, and he returned and he was back, and this was kind of a shot back at his youth because he wanted to do a song reminiscent of his youth, of his heroes, of his rock and roll heroes. And yeah, it this time it was kind of a ballad type of song, and it is one of his greatest solo songs, in my opinion. It has a light-hearted feel, and yeah, he's not as serious as, for example, on an Imagine or his one of his masterpiece albums, Plastic Ono Band, which is probably my favorite album of him. It has more a light-hearted feel, like many other songs also on this album, and yeah, it's a great start, and yeah, love it. I love this song.
Okay.
You know it?
Um, I don't think so. I'm not that familiar with John Lennon's solo
Mm,
stuff, really.
okay.
And I have to say, I can't really listen to Imagine anymore.
Yes.
I don't like that song that much. But yeah, and when you were talking about Yoko Ono, I'm always a bit when people put her down, I'm always a bit annoyed by it because and all these, yeah, she destroyed the Beatles. I think that's bullshit. And uh, talking her down, I think she gets a bad rap. But every time I see her, she kind of annoys me as well. And I just recently I saw a video. I think it was John Lennon on a TV show together with Chuck Berry or something like that. They
Yes,
were
yes. It's a famous clip. Yes.
and she's on that too, and she starts kind of screaming and doing her thing, and Chuck Berry is is visually irritated by her, and you
Yes,
could
yes.
really see it. It's very funny. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree about that. I mean, she's a very smart woman and an artist in her own right. I mean, she's an avant-garde artist, and that someone who listens to pop doesn't like it, okay. But yeah, she didn't destroy the Beatles, but I still have some critique on her. I mean, yeah, how she treated Julian and stuff like
yeah,
that. I think that was not so nice as far as what I know, but she certainly did not destroy the Beatles, I think.
yeah,
That's total bullshit.
yeah. And these two people loved each other, so I mean, You cannot argue with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, there in the Let It Be movie, there are those scenes in which they talk about. I mean, John brought her into the sessions without asking anyone, as if this is totally normal, and the other three thought, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, that's right.
And that was an awkward situation, but not created by her, created by
Yeah,
John. So, and they didn't really discuss this issue. Everybody was pissed. It's quite funny in in the movie. I have to rewatch that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I have to one day. I have to check these albums. I always think that I don't know that they might turn me off or something like that.
If you like John Lennon in general, there are so many great songs. I think
Yeah,
you would find something to like on
I
him.
guess so. Yeah. Okay, so the next song, and that's I thought I have to, and you have a record behind of him behind you. I thought I have to include Prince
Mhm.
because I love Prince, especially 80s Prince. I think he did great stuff in the 90s as well, but 80s Prince and late 70s Prince is untouchable, just amazing. But and I had already picked a song. Greetings to you, Alex, as well, because I know you're a great Prince fan and you would have loved it. But I think I've got something for you. Because yeah, I think well that's kind of a boring pick because everybody knows that song, and but I wanted to include something by Prince, and then I had an idea, and I thought, that's almost Prince, so I chose Sheila E's "A Love Bizarre." It's co-written by Prince. He sings on the track, so and it sounds like a Prince song. She was part of his band. It could have been a Prince song, but it's a Sheila E song, and Sheila E is pretty interesting herself. Didn't know too much about her. I remember back in the 80s when a record came out, and I saw pictures of her. I mean, she looked really glamorous, with these I don't know, chintzy costumes and the hair all done up and stuff like that and makeup. Um, and to me, being like 10 or something like that, I didn't know anything about her. She just looked like any other female pop star, But of course, she's a great musician. She Rolling Stone put her number 58 on the list of greatest drummers of all time. Um, so she's a very celebrated drummer and percussionist. Started in the 70s. Made her first steps probably earlier than Prince even. So she played on Alfonso Johnson's album Yesterday's Dream in 76 when she was, I think she's from 57, so she was 19. Played in George Duke's band, recorded two albums with her father, who was also a percussionist. She did percussion on Michael Jackson's Don't Stop Till You Get Enough in 79. She played for Herbie Hancock. She joined Marvin Gaye's band when he went on his final tour, the Sexual Healing Tour. And you can argue with that. I mean, she she knew what to do with two drumsticks, obviously. And on one of her many live appearances, she met Prince, um, who wasn't that well known back then, I guess. But later they met again. He approached her, and they wrote songs. He convinced her to sing. Uh, Co-wrote her album, The Glamorous Life, and the single "A Love Bizarre," which, yeah, like I said, it could be a Prince song. You know it, right? Do you know the song?
I'm not sure. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
So they are basically riding this one groove throughout the song, and on Spotify, I guess it's the album version I listened to. It's 12 minutes long. They cut it down for the single edit, of course. Um, but when you listen to that long version, there's so much. going on, like the musicians riding this groove and jamming on it, like in these long Prince songs.
Mhm.
Lots of stuff going on, improvising and just this amazing groove. The whole thing, like I said, sounds like a Prince song. So you always recognize his songs just by production alone because he has these sounds that no one else had. And so Sheila E's "A Love Bizarre" is it's a bit unfair because like I said, she's a great musician. So that her song sounds like a Prince song is kind of defeats the purpose. But I guess for her it was a good career step. She kept making music, did a couple of solo albums, and she's pretty well known in the US. Played for many famous people. She played for Phil Collins, for Beyonce. She played in Ringo Starr's band for a while. So yeah, she's she's basically in her own league. She's not doesn't have to do pop records or something like that. She's this well-known musician. Yeah, who gets along on her props and her talents and abilities. So yeah, pretty cool woman, and the song is a jam. Uh, Love it. I know back when I was smaller and listened to that, I didn't really understand this kind of music because there's not really a melody. It's just this groovy thing. But yeah, if you like Prince, you will like this one as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, of all the songs Prince has written for other artists, I think you could always recognize his writing. I mean, of the on the top of my head, I'm thinking about Manic Monday from the Bangles. If you know it,
Yeah,
you can totally see that this is a Prince song, and
yeah,
also
yeah,
Nothing Compares to You by
yeah,
Sinéad
yeah,
O'Connor.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, I think he also recorded that one.
yeah, I did. You did.
Yeah. Okay, so my next pick, I certainly don't want to annoy you, but I think I had to pick this. It's a band you don't particularly like, but it is Queen from
I'm
their
I'm not
1980
going
album. Huh?
I'm not going to run away, so that's okay. That's okay.
Okay. So, yeah, this many Queen fans don't like this very much because they hate Crazy Little Thing Called Love or they hate another one, Bite the Dust. I love both of those songs, and especially Crazy Little Thing Called Love. But because I'm a big rockabilly fan and I think this is executed so well. I mean, if you don't like rockabilly, okay, it's not your thing, but it's very, very good music, and you can totally see that these guys know what they are doing, especially with the production. But that's not the song I picked. I picked the song Play the Game, which is one of my favorite Queen songs, maybe my favorite Queen songs, because it has a gorgeous melody, uh, great lyrics, and yeah, it really kind of makes you think. It's the third single from the game, and it's you could also argue that this is their last great album, in my opinion. Others would say
Mhm.
they stopped earlier. Yeah, they added a bit synthesizers on this one against their police in the 70s, on which they claimed no synthesizer on this one, only drums, guitar, and bass. But they used it yeah, it was a very sophisticated use. I really like it a lot. Not the traditional Queen sound, but I like this 80s version of Queen. This is my favorite 80s Queen album, definitely. Yeah, and this song, Play the Game, is a piano ballad with multi-layered vocals by Freddie, some in falsetto, some in his chest voice, and with a beautiful, beautiful melody. I think it's gorgeous and really really a masterpiece. Yeah, but yes, it is a pop song, pop rock ballad. But yeah, I think they transitioned into the 80s very, very well, in my opinion.
I don't have any problem with pop music. So, and I'm a friend of good cheese. So, I think I don't know that song. At least, not that I know of.
Yeah,
So
it's
maybe I
kind
have
of
to
the
check it.
kind of the
I
title
just
track of
watched with,
this album. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Last weekend I watched, or we watched Highlander with our kids. So we had our dose of Queen then, and realized I still, yeah, I like these songs. So I don't hate Queen. I just don't like him that much, and I can't take too much of them in one sitting. I'm not really a fan of Freddie Mercury's voice, and
Mhm.
we talked about that. I realize he's a great singer, but I don't like his voice that much. So that's it, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so but I will check this one. Um, my final pick. So we're in the 80s, and I had to include at least one. I didn't pick a metal song because we're doing metal on our channel enough, but I had to pick at least one hair metal song. Um, and the song I picked is from a band that doesn't get talked about that often, even in hair metal infested areas like our second home on the Contrarians. They are not really mentioned that often. The band is called House of Lords. Um, and they have a kind of interesting backstory because they were founded by Greg Joffria, who was formerly a keyboardist uh, in Angel, and then after Angel broke up, he formed a band under his own name called Joffria, and they had, I think, two or three albums in the early to mid 80s. And he recorded a demo and wanted to do his next album. And the demo landed in the hands of Gene Simmons, who back then had his own label called Simmons Records. And he listened to it and liked the music he heard, but he said, "Well, I'm going to release this one on my label, but only if you get a different singer and it's not called Joffria." And he suggested the name House of Lords. Joffria agreed and picked a band. So the band was vocalist James Christian, drummer Ken Mary, the guitarist Lenny Cordola, bassist Chuck Wright. They changed their lineups a lot of times, and lots of famous um, musicians from the hard rock world joined their ranks at one time or another. So many people went through this band. Um, they released their debut album in 1988, and the song I picked is I think it's the first single. It's a power ballad called "Love Don't Lie." Love that song. I love hair metal power ballads. And this one is, but House of Lords, they were you hear it already in the name House of Lords. It has that regal quality to it. So it's not these sleazy hooligans like Poison or Guns N' Roses or LA Guns or bands like that. House of Lords have more. When you watch the video for Love Don't Lie, they're all wearing, like frilly shirts and leather gloves and leather pants and have their hairs all done up. So they look more like they look more classy, you could say. Um, and the song sounds like that. This Love Don't Lie was actually written by Stan Bush. Stan Bush is a pretty famous AOR musician and songwriter, and his most famous, his claim to fame is the title track for the Transformers cartoon movie, and the song is called "The Touch." So that's was a huge thing in the USA, and Transformers fan loved this song, and he wrote "Love Don't Lie." But I love it. It's this very dramatic power ballad. Starts slow, then it builds and builds. It has, of course, a killer guitar solo in it. James Christian sounds amazing. He has this powerful, very manly voice. Um, but it completely flopped. They did a video for it. It got MTV airplay, but it didn't even chart. Um, huge disappointment. There was another single release from that album that fared a bit better. And I think I pinned it down somewhere. I can't find it. Um, they did two more albums. One in, I think, in 1989 maybe, or 90. It's called Sahara. They covered Blind Faith's "Can't Find My Way Home," which was a minor success. They did another album in 1992, so at a time when this music was basically over, but they were one of the last bands to get a lot of money for a kind of hard rock album in the old style. Uh, they did Demons Down in '92. Um, but then, of course, this music was done. Nobody wanted to hear that. Um, but they reformed in the early 2000s, and of course, nowadays there are these labels that are kind of a haven for all these musicians from back in the day. Frontier Records and House of Lords recorded 11 albums from 2004 onwards. The last one was recorded in released in 2024. I got a couple of those records, and they sound a bit like these hard rock bands in the late 80s and 90s, early 90s sounded very polished, very melodic. It's a bit cliched. You notice that these guys are a bit older, and but yeah, I think it's still cool that they are doing their thing. And like I said, I love this song. Um, the first three albums by House of Lords are pretty good, I think. They came probably a bit too late, were maybe a bit too grown up for this kind of style. So, you know, they weren't that good looking like the other bands in that vein, in that genre were. So they that was probably the problem they had. Yeah, but they're around. The singer James Christian is actually married to Robin Beck, and you might know her because she had a huge hit in Germany in 1988 because she sang the song from the Coca-Cola advertisement, First Time. Yeah, she's famous
Of
as well.
course.
And yeah, yeah. So House of Lords and Love Don't Lie.
A very weird band name to me. House of Lords.
Weird name.
Yeah, totally. I wouldn't I couldn't expect what kind of music those guys were doing. House of Lords. I don't know. Okay, so my last pick is from one of my favorite 80s pop rock bands from New Zealand and Australia. It's Crowded House. And yeah, it's maybe a boring pick. Really chose their biggest hit, and you guess what it is? Don't Dream It's
Don't
Over.
dream it's over.
Yes, from 1986, and I think it's really, in my opinion, one of the best songs of the 80s. I love it. And it's 9 times platinum in Australia and 2 times platinum in the UK. I think outside those two countries, they were never as big. They also were not that big in Germany. So I've listened to this stuff much later. I mean, they had minor radio hits in Germany, but they weren't really huge or something. And yeah, this song is from their debut called Crowded House. Neil Finn had another band before, quite famous in New Zealand and Australia, called Split Ends, with his brother.
Mm.
And yeah, this song is great. To this day, its message is hope. And I mean, Neil Finn is such a great songwriter, and he also has a great voice. He writes great melodies, great long melodies. All these albums are full of pop hooks. And I think when it comes to melody writing, this is as good as the it got in the 80s. I think in pop rock, they are really one of the very best, and I also like his voice and his vocals. Yeah,
Yeah.
Neil Finn also wrote the for The Hobbit, the song of the Lonely Mountain, the song the dwarves are singing, and was involved into the whole soundtrack. I mean, this is really a guy that knows about composition, and knows what he's doing, and released tons of stuff also with his brother. There's also one album, it's very good, called released as the Finn Brothers. And yeah, if you don't know Crowded House, start with Don't Dream It's Over. And yeah, one of the 80s classic. Probably you've heard it before.
Yeah. I have always when I think of them, I have to always um, concentrate because I get them so easily mixed up with the Counting Crows, just because these two band names sound so similar, right?
Ah, okay, yeah, but different eras. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course. But I always have to think, who are they now?
Yeah, yeah.
Who's
I
this
think I think I remember another hit they had in Germany. Well, was Weather with You. Maybe you remember
band?
that one. But
Yeah,
it's not remotely as good as Don't Dream It's Over, but that was quite popular in
yeah.
Germany.
I love the production on Don't Dream It's Over as well because it has this reverby quality,
Yes.
so a bit of echo on it, and it totally fits to this whole dreamy, hopey thing he does. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, beautiful song, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, nice, cool.
Yeah.
So
So so
let's
these
wrap it up.
Yeah, so these were our random picks, songs from the 80s. We hope you've enjoyed it. Maybe this time it was a little bit longer than usual, but yeah, sometimes we have much to say about our songs, and yeah, we will continue this series. Maybe we continue with the 60s, maybe with the 90s. Let's see. Yeah, random songs. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. And we see you here on Rock Kaput. Bye, guys.
Bye.